Now hi everyone, now I'm going to be tying this fly here. This is a fly called the Yeti. Now this dressing is I got from the Tasmanian fly fishers, fly tyers club, and it's a partner going to be tying, so I thought well I'll join in. Basically last year I did a Zoom call and every so often I get a message to say what they're up to, so when I seen the dressing for the fly I thought well I'll just sit and tie it, because I haven't tied this style of fly for a wee while. Now, I'm using here, is this a Barbless hook? This is the full and mill. It's the competition heavyweight black nickel, and it's a size 8. The thread I'm going to be using in this case is a Uni 80 in black. Now the dressing is as in the message I got, so I'm just going to stick to it. Now I've waxed the thread. I'm just going to put down a layer of thread along the shank and basically run it down until, before just go round the bend there, or where, if you imagine where the barb used to be, would be in a barbed hook, just plunk it there. Now the tail is a pink. I'm just going to use this Glo-Brite yarn, the multi yarn, number 2. Number 2 is this nice pink. Now it's just basically you use a pink antron or a pink wool, I'm sure it would be fine. I'm going to tie it basically the full length of the body, just tie it on. Now times I just go quickly up, just to pinch it in. Tail length looking around about half the body length, so just use that as a guide. Now the rib of the fly, I'm using it's a red wire, and I'm using this. It's a medium sized red wire. I'm going to catch this on the way back down. It looks a bit messy now, but basically this is tying it in nice and tight. Just makes it easier to control if you do stuff like this. And you shouldn't have any issues with the fly. It should last, it should really be okay. Now the body of the fly is Peacock Herl. Now I've got 3 lengths here. I'm just going to line up the ends because I'm going to tie it in close to the tip. I'm lining them up, catch them on, I'm just going to pull it right in to as close as I can go. Now the rib of the fly, the wire is going to protect the Peacock Herl, but the best way to do that is to wind it the opposite way you wind your wire on and the way you turn to wind your thread. So basically I wind it towards myself, just wind up, encourage the fibres to lay back and you can just draw it back with your fingers. So you get right to the head and then come across, because you're doing it or winding towards yourself, basically, and I wind away with the thread. You've got to come over it with a turn, and then a turn onto the hook to lock it in. Do the same again across the Peacock Herl, and then a turn on the hook, and that stops it winding back. Now this is a Zonker strip this is a natural brown mite and a natural mink, which I'm going to tie in now. I'm going to basically tie it with some of make sure I've got enough of the mink, the fur at the top. You could basically, I'm just stroke this back, make sure you wax your thread. You could tie it right at the very end, but if you do that at times it can be quite thin. So to make sure you get enough fur at the head of the fly, you tie it in slightly further down. Make sure you just secure it in the top and then trim away. Now it could be a straight cut or a tapered cut, meaning trim from either side. Just spend a bit of time making sure it's neat. And there's enough there you're tying in, but you've got to remember the wire's going to hold the wing as much. So I'm just using the thread to tidy it up, just working from the eye of the hook up. A wee bit more wax gives you more grip. Just think of the shape of the head you want, and don't be shy of a head in a fly like this. That's fine. Now you could trim this just now, or you could wait till you finish the fly, but I'll trim it just now. And basically there's a couple of ways you could make a space so you can see the length that you want. So it could be as long as as short, depending on what you're trying to represent. I'm just going to keep it, say, about there, just slightly by the tail, a nice straight cut there. And then what I'm going to do is take the corners off. Don't know if you can see that, just take the corners off. Basically on a pencil-like point. And then I'm going to moisten it. Just moisten your fingers, run it through, so you can see exactly what you're doing. I'm going to make a space for the wire to come through. Right, just basically make sure when you come over, it's right on the top. Now you can position the way the strip's going to sit at this point just by slightly just loosen off a bit with the wire and tighten up when you think it's right. If you feel you're right where you want it, I'm happy with that. And then I'm going to come up through, making a space as I wind the rib through. As I say, this is going to protect both the body, obviously hold the wing, so we just take our time. You want to see the ribs, so make a space for your wire. You can come up, just catch it on the side. Basically what I do is I follow up with the thread and the wire and then put a 90-degree bend in. I'm going to show you this. Put 3 or 4 turns in first though, and you can see there it's bent into, it's a 90-degree bend, and then that locks in the tight turns, it doesn't slip back. And then what I do is just continue down towards the eye, right to the eye, and then come straight back up, keeping the thread tight, don't let it go. Keeping the thread tight again, just bend and break away the wire. And you'll get a neat cut doing that. Now, to be honest with you, you could finish at that. It's a good fly the way it's sitting at the moment. But I'm going to put, obviously, in the dressing it says put jungle cock eyes, but you could put cheeks, you could use Glo-Brite even if you wanted to highlight the sides. You could use adhesive eyes, you could stick them to the side and use a resin to hold them. Or if you have the jungle cock in, you can use it. So I've got 2 small eyes. Just going to pull back the fibres I don't want. Then I'm going to put these both on at the same time. So I'm just going to offer them. Just mainly I'm going to tie on the black area. So get them to sit. You're looking down, look at the sides, and then fold them down either side. Hold them. Come round with 2 or 3 turns. Just check where they're sitting, where you want. If you're happy with the position, then you can then tighten up. I usually head down towards the eye again, pull back the waist of the jungle cock, and then wind from the front up. As I say, you don't worry about the head length on this, the head size. It's a good size head. It's part of the fly of the head. Now I'm going to trim these off just to get a neater cut. I sometimes break them off, but I'll cut them away this time. Got wax on my thread, and just take your time, just making a nice neat head, a nice shape. Even if you want, I might build it up a wee bit. I'm just going to put a wee bit more thread on, and then you can wet finish when you're happy. Trim away your thread. And there we are. Now I'm just looking at the tail length. The tail may be a wee bit too long. I'm just going to reduce it a bit. So sometimes when you finish the fly you can see it. I'm just going to take it back a wee bit. I'm going to a good couple of mil away. See what you think of it now. That's a wee bit better, I think. And then you can use a resin, or I'm just going to super glue and varnish, meaning, well, the reason I use super glue, I mean, it's obviously strong, but what it does, I just tap the head with the super glue all the way around. Just take your time, and now this sets really quick and hard, as I say. You don't want it getting into the dressing, even if you're short of just the wing a wee bit. Better been short than putting it into it. So allow that to dry, and then once that dries, then I have a couple of coats of clear varnish, or even black. You put black on it, you want to brighten the head or want a nice black head, then the clear varnish over the top of that. But there we are, that's the Yeti. As I say, it's a good partner if you're ever going to, I mean, New Zealand is a good place for it as well. As Australia, Tasmania especially, the members of the Tasmanian Fly Tyers Club certainly recommend this fly. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and again, if you enjoy the videos, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.